Well, hello. Oh, it is now like the 10th day of 2025. January the 10th, on Friday. This is a Happy New Year greeting video. They have gotten quite a bit of snow this week, and since the past week, kids hadn't even been in school all this week, and this was the first week back since Christmas and New Year break, and they had the last 2 full weeks off. There really no school hasn't been in session in person for students since December the 20th. Right before the start of the break, is 3 weeks ago. Here lately, we've now lost former President Jimmy Carter, leaving us with only 5 living presidents, with Joe Biden being the oldest, as he's being laid to rest tomorrow. Joe Biden is now the oldest living one in his 80s, and well, the inauguration is just 10 days from now, right on same day as Martin Luther King Day. And that did last happen back in 97. Bill Clinton took his second oath of office. Of course, it also happened in 2013 when Barack Obama took his second oath of office, but that's because the 20th was on a Sunday, so they had it on the 21st, on Monday. Yeah, now here we are. I mean, this is the 25th year of the century, so basically by the end of this year we'll have, for most of us born before 2001 though, we'll have lived through a whole quarter of this century. And babies born in 2000 will be turning 25. Whereas 2001 is actually the start of the century, but we have lived through a whole quarter of the 2000s, from 2000 to 2024. Has been now, this year makes 30 years since the O.J. Simpson trial was going on, where he was accused of the murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman, way back from June of 94. And it was in October of that year when he was found not guilty. And this year, in April, is also 30 years since the federal building bombing in Oklahoma City. It happened in April of 1995. And also, well, the first Back to the Future movie came out 40 years ago, in 1985, and then it was 5 years later, and right there in the fall of 89 when part 2 came out, and then part 3 in, I'd say, January of 1990. That's been 35 years ago. You have the trilogy box set on DVD. It's been on and off of Netflix and on Peacock. They put it back on there and then took it off sometime later. And finally, of course, that prequel to Yellowstone, 1923, the second season will be on Paramount Plus starting on February the 23rd. which had been a couple of years since they had the first season. That writer's strike put all that stuff behind production. And Yellowstone finally finished season 5 with these last 6 episodes here in November and December. There's going to be another prequel series called 1944 probably later this year. So also ABC brought back that show Extreme Makeover Home Edition last week with different hosts than they had before back in the 2000s. It was back then that they built a house for a family right in Fairmont. The Turner family, I'd say about 16 years ago or so. 16 or 17 years ago. Somebody'd have to check that. Started recording at 9:14 a.m. Now it's 9:22. Well, yeah, I hoped I do be making more videos this year. Didn't end up even going to that pepperoni roll drop again this year. They had on New Year's. They started it 5 years ago. Think about this year, Days of Our Lives will be turning 60 in November. Started November 8, 1965. Of course, General Hospital has been on 2 years longer than that. They came on April 1st, 1963. So I guess this is all I'm going to be talking about here. So happy New Year of 2025. And I will just watch for more videos coming up later. Okay, goodbye.